Clip of Fauci talking about the flu vaccine has recently surfaced.
But she's had the flu for 14 days. Should she get a flu shot?
Well, no. If she got the flu for 14 days, she's as protected as anybody can be, because the best vaccination is to get infected yourself.
And
So
she should not get it?
if she really has the flu, she definitely doesn't need a flu vaccine. If she really has the flu,
She should not get it again?
no, she doesn't need it, because it's the most potent vaccination is getting infected yourself.
I wanted to revisit this Dr. Fauci clip from last year, talking to Sanjay Gupta.
And just real quickly, there was a study that came out of Israel about natural immunity. And basically the headline was that natural immunity provides a lot of protection, even better than the vaccines alone.
And this week was apparently the 1-year anniversary of when the CDC director went on television and got super excited about something that ended up not being true.
Our data from the CDC today suggests, that vaccinated people do not carry the virus, don't get sick, and that it's not just in the clinical trials, but it's also in real world data.
We got a great show for you guys today, folks, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the live show. What's going on, folks? I just wanted to tell you simultaneously, I love women. I believe in women. I believe all women. I love Rochelle Walensky because she's a woman. But also at the same time, I'm not going to define what a woman is, and I'm not quite sure what it is anymore because I don't want to get canceled. So I love women. I believe them. I trust them. I respect them. I would never question them. But at the same time, what is a woman? With that being said, let's revisit that clip of Dr. Anthony Fauci. It's going viral. I'm not sure when it originally surfaced, but I did see Elijah Schaffer posted on Twitter. And here's that clip. Let me know what you think. Fact checkers, calm down. I know you guys got to do your little PR operative, defend and twist everything in the world. But this is an old clip. It's real. And, it is what it is. We're going to play it here.
But she's had the flu for 14 days. Should she get a flu shot?
Well, no. If she got the flu for 14 days, she's as protected as anybody can be, because the best vaccination is to get infected yourself.
And
So
she should not get it?
if she really has the flu, she definitely doesn't need a flu vaccine. If she really has the flu,
She should not get it again?
no, she doesn't need it, because it's the most potent vaccination is getting infected yourself.
Wow. I guess the science has shifted, because that is not what Dr. Anthony Fauci was saying about the COVID vaccine. And the science is shifting and evolving, and listen to the experts and trust them. And, you have to listen to them. Fauci and Rochelle Walensky are your transgender overlords. I mean, they're not. They're a man and a woman. But at the same time, if at any point they decide to be non-binary and just, move like the ocean, it is what it is. It's God, God bless everybody. I'm just saying, it's like, I don't, I want to say Dr. Fauci is a man that I respect, and you have to listen to him and not me. And I want to say Rochelle Walensky is a woman that I respect, and you have to listen to her, not me. But the thing is, I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to do that anymore. I don't know if it's polite. It used to be you have to defend women, and women are different, and women need our help, and there's a women's month. And then at the same time, you have people I don't even know what that really means. So I don't know what it means. And, you have to trust the experts, except when the experts say something like this. The year anniversary was this week of Rochelle Walensky going on television and telling this overexcited, what ended up being not true.
Our data from the CDC today suggests, that vaccinated people do not carry the virus, don't get sick, and that it's not just in the clinical trials, but it's also in real world data.
You'll be happy to know that she just, was excited. She came out recently. It was I was just so excited. It's are you a cheerleader for Pfizer and Moderna? Because I thought that the CDC and the FDA was supposed to regulate and, be nonpartisan, bipartisan, whatever. No, whatever. Let's revisit, now that we saw that clip of Anthony Fauci saying this.
But she's had the flu for 14 days. Should she get a flu shot?
Well, no. If she got the flu for 14 days, she's as protected as anybody can be, because the best vaccination is to get infected yourself.
I'm not saying COVID's the flu. I'm not saying everything's the same. I'm just saying this idea of natural immunity, they tried to cover it up on Instagram. I remember the hashtag was hidden. They did the biggest cover-up job in the media to act as if natural immunity is a right-wing Alex Jones conspiracy theory, Donald Trump hallucination. These people know about natural immunity. They've been talking about it for decades. I'm not saying this or that. I'm not an expert. I'm not an mRNA injectable expert or whatever. But, as they were telling people for years, like, oh, don't think about that. Not, there's no such thing. I just want to show you what came out in the last year. This was Reuters. They said, this is Reuters, by the way, mainstream. Prior COVID infection more protective than vaccination against the Delta surge, U.S. study. And I just want to show you, it says people who had previously been infected with COVID-19 were better protected against the Delta variant than those who were vaccinated alone, suggesting that natural immunity was a more potent shield than vaccines against the variant. California and New York health officials reported on Wednesday. Folks, this wasn't Tennessee or Idaho or the right-wing nasties that they tell you about. This was California and New York both admitting that natural immunity was not only real, but it was extremely, extremely potent. And, this is something that they tried to cover up for over a year. Now, I want to show you this newer clip of Dr. Anthony Fauci. He was on Anderson Cooper and Sanjay Gupta, and Sanjay Gupta brought up this massive Israeli study that showed that natural immunity was really effective. And you got to listen to Dr. Anthony Fauci's response. Whether you love him, whether you hate him, whether you're in the middle about him, God bless him. Listen to what he says here when Sanjay Gupta says, what do you think of this Israeli study? Because it's very, very telling. And I don't want to tell you how to think. You could think for yourself. Take a look.
And just real quickly, there was a study that came out of Israel about natural immunity. And basically the headline was that natural immunity provides a lot of protection, even better than the vaccines alone. What are people to make of that? So as we talk about vaccine mandates, I get calls all the time. People say, I've already had COVID, I'm protected, and now the study says maybe even more protected than the vaccine alone. Should they also get the vaccine? How do you make the case to them?
That's a really good point, Sanjay. I don't have a really firm answer for you on that. That's something that we're going to have to discuss regarding the durability of the response. The one thing the paper from Israel didn't tell you is whether or not, as high as the protection is with natural infection, what's the durability compared to the durability of a vaccine. So it is conceivable that you got infected, you're protected, but you may not be protected for an indefinite period of time. So I think that is something that we need to sit down and discuss seriously, because you very appropriately pointed out it is an issue, and there could be an argument for saying what you said.
And where are we on kids below the age of 12?
Where are we on kids below the age of 12? Cooper was about to ask. Well, this is the interesting part. On Facebook, you get penalized sometimes for disagreeing with the CDC. On Facebook, sometimes you get penalized for disagreeing with the World Health Organization, which isn't even the United States. It's a, multi-government situation that, has multiple countries involved. But anyway, the World Health Organization and the CDC didn't even agree on certain level of childhood vaccination. So now I'm sitting here on Facebook. I've been penalized multiple times for being honest, being accurate. They've never bought me on something that I was wrong about. They're always like, fact check, you said this. No, I didn't. You're lying. You guys are idiots. Either it's an AI algorithm or some loser intern that thinks they're like Nikola Tesla or something. But anyway, God forbid you actually do disagree with the CDC. It's like this crazy. But how can I agree with the World Health Organization when they don't even agree with the CDC? There is a conversation being had with science, just apparently not in the United States of America, because you can get penalized for posting an old Dr. Anthony Fauci video talking about masks. You could get penalized for talking for a new one. He talks out of both sides of his mouth, and you're not allowed to agree with what he said 4 months ago. It's like, when this came out, would you have been penalized for disagreeing with her? Probably. If you said, I don't think the vaccine's going to be flawless like you're trying to say, you probably would have been penalized for disagreeing with this obvious falsity at this point, or bad data that she had that wasn't as accurate as she thought.
Our data from the CDC today suggest, that vaccinated people do not carry the virus, don't get sick, and that it's not just in the clinical trials, but it's also in real world data.
Would you have been punished for, going against that? Probably. You probably would have. I want to play a clip real quick. I got to upload it live, but I have a clip of Dr. Anthony Fauci talking about the lockdowns. And keep in mind, during the lockdowns, if you were trying to protest, use your First Amendment right to protest the lockdowns, Facebook was actually penalizing you. If you were going to a protest in New Jersey, say, because I know certain states had different laws, Facebook would then shut you down or penalize you, stop you from organizing. They're still doing it, to say, hey, I don't know if this lockdown thing's worth it. By the way, the negative effects of that, I don't want to be a drone because I've said it a million times, but elderly people need to move. They need to talk. Life is not just like going to a job. Life is also breathing, talking, smiling. They're covering your smiles. They're basically saying you can't disagree with this or you're against science. This is like a form of slavery, folks. Mental slavery turns into physical slavery real fast, okay? If they're psychologically abusing you, emotionally abusing you, mentally abusing you, in some cases literally physically abusing you and altering your ability to physically take care of yourself, go to a gym, go to a spa, have elderly people. You don't think that negatively affected millions of elders? Of course it did. And if these people aren't thinking of that, they're not health experts. They are propagandists, puppets, pawns, and just total liars, whether they know it or not. So here's Dr. Anthony Fauci years later, admitting that, well, we'll see.
I'm interested in your reluctance to use the word lockdown. Do you think 2 years on that they were worth it, or were they too severe?
I don't think we're ever going to be able to determine what the right balance is. I think the restrictions, if you want to use that word, which I tend to shy away from, lockdown, there's certainly prevented a lot of infections, prevented a lot of hospitalizations, and prevented a lot of deaths. There's no doubt about that. Obviously, when you do have that kind of restriction on society, there are unintended negative consequences, particularly in children who are not allowed to go to school, in the psychological and mental health aspects it has on children, in the economic stress that it puts on society in general, on individual families. Obviously, those are negative consequences that are unintended.
Yeah, you say unintended as if you guys didn't know that would happen. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we didn't know. You didn't know that would happen? Of course you should have known that would happen. You should have planned for it. But these people are so wicked, they don't plan for it. They act as if, oh, we never could have known. Of course it's going to affect people physically. I was like, if you could mandate a lockdown, why don't we mandate exercising? I said that in March, the second they locked down. I said, hey, I'm not for authoritarianism. I'm really not. But if you're going to use it, and only use it here, you might as well make people do jumping jacks. We could have saved probably millions of lives over the course of time. But instead they didn't. Instead they ran Coca-Cola ads, Dr. Pepper ads, Taco Bell ads, sponsored by fast food, high fructose corn syrup, canola oil through the roof, seed oil, etc. And now it's like, oh, childhood obesity is rising. I wonder why. And then you got these liberals writing puff pieces like, oh, the far right is capitalizing off fitness culture. It's like and they literally had a symbol that showed the Nazi Sieg Heil and like a muscle, literally trying to brainwash people to think that like fitness is Sieg Heiling. It's like these people have lost their freaking mind. Do you want to know why right-wing people tend to dominate fitness culture right now? The same reason they dominate UFC? Because it's real, okay? If you're little, scrawny, and you start working out, you're going to get jacked. It's all called self-accountability, self-awareness. How much do you want to dedicate yourself? I'm sorry, it's more of a right-wing thing now because on average, not all, but some, people on the right take care of themselves, self-accountability, self-awareness, at least understanding how the world works. If you don't put in the work, you don't get the results. The left wing, oh, I need everything. 500 pounds is healthy, but if you don't get 5 booster shots, you're going to go, you should be in prison. Like these are ideas that are flourishing on the left, and on the right wing, it's like, yeah, like maybe we should eat healthier. Maybe fitness and health isn't just big pharma. On the left, they're totally brainwashed by big pharma, totally brainwashed by so many social narratives that they don't even know like basic common sense and basic like human nature and fitness. So naturally, fitness people are starting to become more right wing. They're working out, they're taking care of themselves, their mind's more clear, their bodies are better. The fitness community used to be, I would say, left wing, like yoga, healthy foods. Now it's shifted right wing, even like yoga teachers, because in order to do that, be present, be self-aware. Also, this idea of like anybody with half a brain, whether you take care of yourself or not, knows that health is not just big pharma. Health is not just turning on CNN and listening to Anthony Fauci. I don't care how great or terrible Anthony Fauci is. Health is, physical health, mental health, spiritual health, if people want to feel that way. I do. What you eat, how much you move, how much you exercise, how much you get out of the house, how much you smile, these all go into health, how much you play sports or have some sort of routine. So the Anthony Fauci's of the world are like, oh, these are unintended consequences. Anybody that's into health and not just a big pharma puppet, a big government pawn, would look at this and be like, okay, we need a full-scale health approach, right? We need to really think about every scale of health, because if we're going to take this and this and this away from people and just shove vaccines in them, that isn't the full scale of health. I mean, you could lie to yourself and be like 600-700 pounds and be like, yeah, I got the vaccine, I'm so healthy. It's like, I mean, that's one part of health, but you're missing like the biggest part. So at this point, you're not really healthy, but you could say you are, so there's a reason. I'm just saying ideologically that a lot of people into fitness and taking care of themselves, you pretty much can't be left wing anymore. It's like, how are you going to be a yoga teacher that's into like healthy foods, but you're going to scream mRNA injections and act like shutting down gyms and spas is a good idea? You're not going to be very healthy. You're not going to be mentally healthy. At a certain point, it's going to weigh on your physical health. So without getting too wordy, I mean, that's how I feel. It's just a disgrace, and I pray that people wake up. I'm not trying to be too upset or angry over it, but Dr. Anthony Fauci is a total con artist and a fraud, in my opinion. He's played the game very well. He's a very smart guy, very sneaky. I give him credit on that. He's definitely smooth. He's way smoother than Biden, etc. He's a hero to the Democrats. But in general, I just have to say, it's crazy living in a world where disagreeing with Anthony Fauci is like disagreeing with Allah in a country with Sharia law. Like, that's what America is. We're like Pfizer law. We don't believe in God. We don't, we're not even protecting children. It's like, you can't even have a conversation with the leftists anymore. They'll call you all sorts of names and try to censor you when they're in the wrong and they're not intellectually strong enough to debate you. It's a crazy world. It's like, this is, I'm putting, every day I say this stuff. I mean, I don't care. I'm not crying about it. It's also made me, so it either makes you or breaks you. But every day I do stuff like this, I'm wondering, are they going to take my stuff away? Because I know I'm right. I'm not, it's not like I feel like I'm telling a fib or anything. It's just, I know I live in a country where telling the truth is now a thought crime, a hate crime, a speech crime, a COVID crime, an anti-Fauciism. They have a word for everything at this point, where it's like, you're not allowed to question their liars. They'll hide their liars behind Anthony Fauci. They'll hide their liars behind LGBT. They'll hide their liars behind BLM. They'll hide their liars behind a different, political agenda. And then they'll say, oh, this must be hateful if you disagree with them. No, there's millions of black people I agree with and millions of black people I disagree with. There's millions of, people of every creed I disagree with and agree with. You just happen to choose some that agree with you politically and force your agenda behind them. And this is one of the most nefarious things they do, in my opinion, at least on the right. No, I'm not saying people are perfect. There's a lot of people misled and watching fake stuff, whatever. But I feel like on the right wing, people are way more honest. They say, hey, we literally don't care. Most people on the right wing, most modern Republicans, they don't care if you're black. They don't care if you're white. They don't care if you're Asian. Most of them don't even care if you're gay. Some do, a lot don't. I would say more don't at this point. If you just agree with them ideologically, they like you. But here's the difference. At least the right wing is somewhat honest about it, or very honest about it. On the left wing, they act like it's all about race. It's not about race to them. It's not about gender to them. It's about agreeing with them. If you're like a transgender that disagrees with them, they hate you. Do you know who hates Caitlyn Jenner more than the right wing? The left wing. They despise Caitlyn Jenner. They despise Candace Owens. They despise anybody with half a brain that is the group that they claim to, but they're just so fake about it. That's why they're like the person that stabs you in the back. The Republicans more, in the front. It's like, I hate fake people. I hate fakeness. I hate deception. And it's all a deception. Just be honest. Just say, hey, this is our crazy agenda. This is our political agenda. And, we like people who agree with us. If you're white and agree with us, we like you. They don't do that. They're like, we care about this group. Like, no, you want people in that group to agree with you, and you will be their worst enemy. Just be real about it. Be like, my political agenda is important. My social, your race is not important. Your sexuality is not important. Just be honest about it. That's what the right does. We don't care who you are. Just come over and talk to us. The left says, we care exactly who you are. You're this, you're this. We care about it. The second you're that minority group or whatever that disagrees with them, they are going to be your worst enemy. God bless you guys. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. Share this clip if you like it. If you want an extra podcast, patreon.com/raretalk. If you want to sign up to my email list, stayintouchwithme.com. And dreamrare.com, you can see the promo code is 5 days only. I have hats, these hats, shirts, etc., made in the USA. 5 days only. It's 4 days now, but that's the code, 20% off, real code. God bless you. I'm going to keep this short and brief so people share it. I want people to see this stuff. Facebook, Google, YouTube, mainstream media, they do their best job to cover this stuff up and make it so you can't find it. They cover it up in their algorithms. They delete it. They are 1984. They are the book burners. They are the Orwellian scumbags. They can't have a debate because they're wrong, and the only way that their ideas can flourish is if they censor and silence the people that are telling the truth. So they're going to keep doing that. But I want this video to really spread and share, and I want people to see it because, it's basic stuff. And all you got to do is think for yourself, critical think. Don't got to agree with me. Don't got to agree with them. But you got to think. If they can just brainwash you not to think, we're toast, folks. So have a beautiful one. I'll be